a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, this morning we continue our conversation on all that's happening as Tobago celebrates Republic Day up at Roxborough tomorrow. Now, we know all roads lead to Roxborough both in the morning and in the evening. So we want to give you a bit of an update on what's happening security-wise, traffic-wise, what you can expect, and to ensure your safety and security during this celebration. Now, this morning, as I have this conversation, I have the pleasure of sitting in studio with ASP Dirk John, who is from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Good day, ma'am. Good day.
Now, a lot is happening tomorrow. We just heard from the permanent secretary at CAST about the morning parade. They indicated that the parade is starting off promptly at 9 a.m. and individuals are expected to line the streets from 8 a.m. Now, some of the questions that I would have asked them were surrounding, firstly, the ability to enter and exit Roxborough safely and efficiently, even with all the traffic that's happening. We know individuals are coming both from Tobago East and West to be a part of that celebration. So when it comes to persons coming from Tobago West up to Roxborough, can we expect police officers to be directing traffic from as early as where to, kind of, because we know that the route is going to be blocked off.
Yes, there would be some traffic restrictions. I don't know if that was presented before.
Yes.
But there will be some traffic restrictions, not to stop the enjoyment of the parade, but to just manage it much better.
Right. We know that traffic would be diverted to that Roxborough road that goes to the Roxborough High School.
Yes, that's the Bloody Bay. The
Bloody Bay Road, that north side road.
Yes.
So, in addition to that, where would your officers be set up to begin to guide the traffic?
Well, as to the specific locations of the officers, that would be a security issue. But you will see visible police, both on the ground and in mobiles, assisting members of the public as to where you can go and where you should not go. But we do know that there's a security climate that we need to suppress. So you will see an amalgamation of security forces present on tomorrow. Please go.
All right, and tell us about the evening time. We see, there are sometimes persons who were not at the morning parade would come up in the evening time. What about traffic during that time? And
restrictions will continue. Well, that will be outside the loop of the legal notice, as I have a copy of the legal notice here. But to ensure that the evening proceedings go calmly, safely for those persons, we will have presence of officers as well.
Okay, but there would be no traffic restrictions going off to
not during that time,
evening.
Not based on my information.
Okay. And when it comes to where is it legal to park during those evening celebrations, we know persons park even along the main road there, down in Argyle, right before you enter the waterfall. Persons park outside of the Renaissance. Where are the legal areas that persons should park as to not obstruct traffic during that time?
Of course. Let me refer the listening audience to the legal notice published under the hand of our Commissioner of Police. Now, these restrictions are temporary between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. So that time slot there is a very important time slot. So persons are encouraged to get there before, adequately park, secure your vehicles, secure your belongings, and present yourself and enjoy the parade. We're looking at restrictions along the junction of Boston Street and Windward Road to the junction of Prince Street and Windward Road, Lamy Road, Cameron Canal Road, Station Hill Bypass, the Police Station Street, Boston Street, and Prince Street. However, we will allow traffic to flow along Lamy Road, Cameron Canal, Station Hill, Police Station Street, Boston Street, and Prince Street. The traffic will flow, but we will prohibit parking.
Excellent. Well, you heard it here. So that would be what would guide individuals during the evening time as well.
During the evening time, depending on where the concentration of the...
But we know most of the concentration would be at the Sid Gray Stadium.
Wonderful. So, and that spot there is right there by the fire station and the gas station. So we would limit parking along there. Persons should be guided by officers on the ground. Just comply. We know what we're doing, and we will guide you accordingly.
Right. And as you indicated, in your preamble, crime is, something that's on the top of mind for Tobagonians,
Yes.
especially the fact that we saw, 2 murders happening over the weekend,
Yes.
back to back in the very same area that the celebrations are taking place tomorrow. How can persons be sure that this celebration would not be used as an opportunity for retaliation and that innocent persons may be, in the line of fire during this celebration?
Police, we understand the concern. We also know that the fear of crime drives a lot of people's anticipation as well. What we're hoping for is that members of the public understand that we need them cooperating with us. If they should see or hear that something may take place or something is about to take place, please give us a call. You still have the 99 system, give us a call. We will respond. As we're seeking to understand the dynamics of what is propelling that increase in gang activity in those areas, we still call upon members of the public to work with us. We are not working against members of the public here. We need to work closer together to understand what is happening. Now, I came from a homicide background. I understand the value of the investigators pursuing these investigations in Tobago. They have wonderful capacity. What we fall short of, though, is that evidence is key in propelling our investigations. So that's why we always clamor for greater collaboration with members of the public.
Excellent. And to maintain that level of safety and security and confidence in persons attending the event, you indicated that there would be heavy police presence, but what would that look like? Would it look like patrols throughout the event? What can we really expect? Because we know that the bulk of persons may not necessarily be at the celebrations at Sidgray in the evening time.
Yes.
There is that harvest type culture where persons are, in the different streets and, enjoying company at persons' residences. So how does the TTPS plan to ensure that they are at all places at once?
We can be at all places at once, but we would encourage persons to live their lives. All we're asking for is that you understand that based on the present climate, you will see an increased police, military presence on the ground. It's going to be diverse. You will see officers in vehicles moving around. You're going to see them on the ground. At the end of the day, it's there for their security. It's not to turn them away, It's for them to understand, members of the public to understand that we are there, present and visible. And we're there for you, covering you, protecting you always.
All right, excellent. And when we talk about the public impact, what type of impact is expected from tomorrow's parade?
Diverse. It's going to be a 2-mile walk from Lamy to Prince Street and then back to Sidgray. You're going to see displays, mechanical displays, police motorcycles, fire service mechanized devices. You're going to see an amalgamation of the forces moving along together because we're going to celebrate a unique day where Parliament first started, right? So we want members of the public to come out and celebrate with us.
Right. And this should also be inspiring and inspirational to the young kids. I heard Cass talk about the fact that they would be giving out little treats and stuff along the road to the kids, but would there be opportunities for families and even the young children to interact with the officers post parade?
Yes, I believe so. You see, well, during the parade it's going to be a bit difficult as the parade moves along.
Yeah.
But upon the dismissal of the parade, I mean, come on, nothing stops members of the public from saying hi, shake a hand with the officers.
Because, this plays a huge role, especially in young persons and their inspiration for who they want to be.
Yes, we want to stimulate
and their career.
People.
So are there, any events that would kind of facilitate that inspiration to the kids after the parade?
I hope that the CAS explores more of that. My specifics would be along the security aspect of things, right?
Yeah.
But coming from a nationalist mindset, I would encourage the youths to come out and be part of it just by their presence and by their cheering us on.
Right. But don't you think maybe, for the future, something that can be recommended is to have those, different security booths and stuff, that represent all the different arms
That's a
of
wonderful
security
suggestion.
and allow, persons to, understand what the recruitment process
Yes,
looks like,
a wonderful
when recruitment
opportunity.
is happening, what are the requirements, and, get persons more interested in being a part of the security service.
Allow me to convey that because that's a wonderful idea. Some years ago in Trinidad, we had what was called a community caravan, where we moved along every single division, even in Tobago, where there were several booths with several entities, units, presenting themselves with flyers, information, interacting with members of the public, especially the youths, encouraging them to get into something positive.
I mean, because after the parade, there's really nothing happening until later on in the evening. So that's a great opportunity to have somewhat of a career market for the services. Now we're gonna take a quick break here and we're gonna be back right after this. So see you soon, guys.
It's a brand new morning, rise up.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. We continue our conversations with ASP John as we talk about all that's happening at the Republic Day celebrations in Roxborough tomorrow. But we're touching a bit on crime and the role that the public can play in fighting crime. Now, there are a number of avenues that persons can reach out to the TTPS. Not just in relation to what's happening for the celebration, but generally, when it comes to, securing their neighborhood, securing their area, securing even, their own life and limb. Tell us about ways that we can reach out and interact in a safe, secure, and confidential manner.
Of course. Allow me to share this. There is no national security unless people feel safe. And our interaction with members of the public on the ground has a rippling effect. We know this. We would encourage members of the public to utilize the 99 system for a rapid response capacity. If the matter is very sensitive and you need a form of anonymity, you have the 555 or 800 tips. These systems are proven systems internationally where persons can give anonymous information to some entity not connected to the police, and that information is then passed on to us and we will act on it.
Excellent. And so when it comes to restoring the confidence of the general public in the police service, what type of initiatives are being done to make sure that persons feel confident in sharing that type of information?
And as I alluded before when we began the interview, community engagement is a very important pillar under our strategic plan. Having our community meetings, our station council meetings, we allow for that interaction face-to-face with members of the public as well as key stakeholders, allowing that information flow, that exchange of ideas to build platforms towards a better future, because we need to know what is happening in the communities, as there are not enough police officers, ma'am. We do know that the resolution of situations can come from within the communities. So we encourage these community interactions as well as community walkabouts. We do have that as well.
Excellent. Now, we touched a bit on the potential of having, that type of open market for persons to explore careers, in the protective services.
Of course.
Now, there's still individuals who think that when you join, whether it be the Coast Guard, the Air Guard, or the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, that you're just going to be an officer or someone who sits in the station or is patrolling, or someone who they see, directing traffic. But there are so many different avenues, to establish or start one's career through the service. Tell us more about, the different units and avenues that persons can explore.
When I joined the service in 1993, I could not have imagined the scope that would have evolved over the years. Times have changed. And persons who have their subjects or who are aspiring to contribute to the national security fabric ought not to be afraid to push themselves. Within the TTPS, we have technical experts within cyber. It's a very key component in advancing investigations. We have homicide experts who are doing some tremendous work. We have officers who work in intelligence gathering. We have operational officers, and we have officers who are specific within managing traffic. It is not a low particular function. Everything works together. Officers in mounted branch, K9, drug officers, we work together in order to advance investigations. So I don't want people thinking, I join the service, there's no hope, there's no scope. There is scope, and it starts with a will to drive yourself forward.
Right. And how can persons, let the TTPS know what areas they are interested in? Because persons still are of the mindset that when you go in, you train as an officer,
Yes.
they put you where they want to
Yes.
put you. So how can a person express interest and actually be positioned, let's say, for instance, in IT or in cybersecurity, in communication, or in a legal unit?
Management, for me, represents the planning, organizing, and directing of resources. Now, once you do know what your human resource skills bank represent, you can adequately deploy persons into right fit positions.
Right.
So someone who joins this service, I would urge them to market themselves towards exploring their skills where it's needed. So someone comes in, they're heavy IT, nothing is wrong in applying to go to or into an IT relevant field.
Right.
Someone comes in and they believe they could make a very good intelligence officer. I would still encourage that they learn the basics, the foundation of policing before they explore that particular specific function. Because no matter what, you still have to deal with the base policing knowledge that you have to expand upon. Okay?
Excellent. And when it comes to expanding the capacity of officers who are already in the service,
yes,
we know multiple training sessions are held in different areas every year. But what are some of the active mechanisms being used to increase not just the resources around officers, but their own capacity to handle the job?
Wonderful. Quite recently, our administration requested information as to the skill set that officers possess, which is to create a skills bank. And that skills bank allow you to deploy accordingly. Now, with regards to, let's look at my background, for example. As I went through the system, I saw a gap and I attempted to fill it based on doing some studies within the criminal justice field, just to allow a more professional look as to the TTPS policing and how the police fits in the criminal justice system. So persons do come in with their degrees, their masters, their bachelors. Some come in and allow their skills to be regenerated and springboard, but there is continuous training within the TTPS in various fields. Customer service, investigation, intelligence gathering, IT. There is continuous training, which from the mandate of the Commissioner of Police allows for operational capacity to build upon.
Right, and very recently we saw that the Commissioner of Police indicated that there is a shakeup happening within the TTPS, and this is to combat complacency, and we see a shifting and a moving around of some of the heads of different units and departments, specifically here in Tobago. We see the movement of some of the senior officers, such as Mr. Collis Hazel and Rodhill Kirk. Do you think that this would be an effective mechanism to try to fight crime in Tobago?
I am aligned to the strategic plan emanating from the executive, which speaks to having all available to treat with the existing situation. And let me seize this opportunity to thank ACP Hazel and Senior Sub Kirk, having worked with them for the past 4 months, are quality-oriented individuals, well-resourced, well-knowledged. I learned a lot from them, and I know that the officers in Tobago learned a lot from these officers. I also welcome the arrival of ACP Subero and Senior Sub Eli to the Tobago crime-fighting construct. And I have faith that the officers who are here, because since I came here 4 months ago, I have seen some wonderful talent displayed by the officers, and all I do is just to add what I consider 2 cents to the mix in building capacity. You have wonderful quality that exists in Tobago. At the end of the day, what restricts may be resource deficiencies, which the administration is seriously working on, because you got to have the right numbers to treat with this particular situation. You have 60,000 people, 22,000 on the east based on the electorate, 27,000 on the west based on the electorate. So do we have the right numbers? The administration is looking at it. Do we have the right equipment, mobility, technical expertise? The administration is looking at it. So I think we are in a good place to build and to treat with the present climate.
All right, and so does that mean that a reduction in crime in Tobago is in our future?
We are pushing for it. We know that the homicides is a testing issue, and that's why I started earlier on with, if persons should see something, they should say something. We do understand the fear of crime, but we do have mechanisms to protect people. We have the Justice Protection Program, which works. I have been working with them over the years, and these guys work hard to protect witnesses. Okay, so if someone has information as to the last 2 murders which occurred in Argyle, or the murders which occurred in Tobago recently, please give us a call. You have the 555 800 tips. Let us work in bringing these people to justice. Let us work in taking those guns off the street. Let us work closer together. It is not just a policing fight, because I know what it is to be a victim of a crime. Right. I understand.
And how does the TTPS combat the fact that we are seeing more and more high-powered rifles on the streets? How are we dealing with that? We've heard the conversation happening and the argument that the guns are coming in through the port of entry, the legal ports of entry.
Yes.
One of those main ones being the port, where the boat, where the boat is coming on there, and there's no scanner for the vehicles.
Yes.
So persons who are walking on are thoroughly searched from, head to toe.
Yes.
All their belongings have been searched, but a person can just, jump in their car and have someone look around and say, okay, you could go on.
Yes.
So what are some of the, initiatives that are being taken to ensure that, these particular ports of entry where the illegal firearms are coming in are being safeguarded?
We are intensifying collaboration with our entities. You see the port police officers, customs, immigration as well. We know how important these entities are in the whole national security construct. And as I said before, this is not a policing issue solo. The police will take the lead in getting these entities together more collaboratively, talking to each other to build the intelligence network towards securing our borders. We need to secure our borders. All right, so we have intensified operations by working closer together with these entities to treat with that. And we will overcome that deficiency. It's going to take some time, but we're patient enough.
All right, well, we look forward to that. We look forward to, increased security here on the island. And hopefully we don't see the numbers skyrocketing any further than it has already. I mean, we are in September, and I believe that this is the highest rate that we have seen in Tobago so far. So then there is that level of security, just in persons' households that we want to be able to restore. Persons feeling confident to come out and support events like the Republic Day celebration in Roxborough. And there may be persons who are saying, well, based on what has happened over the weekend, I don't want to go. What would you say to those individuals who are, slowly becoming fearful of what it means to live in Tobago?
Yes, I share that concern. I understand fully that concern. And I still believe in what I do. And there are many officers who still believe in what they do. And we are pushing towards making this island safer. Now, there's some things that we cannot accept anymore. That's a cultural mindset that we see something and it's our business. We cannot accept that in Tobago. You can't accept a man walking around with a high-powered rifle and have nothing to say. You cannot accept seeing someone breaking into someone's home or someone's vehicle and have nothing to say. Only when it hits home are we interested. We should not be. Let's look out for each other. The police has a function, but I believe members of the public ought to appreciate changing dynamics, change the mindset.
Excellent. And we want to thank you so much for giving us your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on and letting us know all that's happening in regards to security and safety at the 2024 Republic Day celebration. And again, the parade starts promptly at 9 a.m.
That's many things.
And it starts in Lamy Road.
Lamy Road.
And it goes all the way
to Prince Street, then comes back around to the Sid Gray, where they would dismiss around that area there.
Right. And so we look forward to a successful parade and crime-free celebrations, hopefully.
Yes, we look forward to. We live with hope, ma'am.
All right. So we are encouraging all of Tobago to come out and be a part of these Republic Day celebrations. And be sure to bring the kids out to, be inspired and to be motivated by the parade and hopefully their interactions with officers after that parade celebration. Now, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Prior to this conversation, we had the Permanent Secretary for CAS, Mr. Erlen Kent, as well as Ms. Liz Moy McKenzie, who were on with us. And now we are rounding up our discussion with our ASP from the TTPS, Mr. Dirk John. And we want to thank you again. And, sending our support out to those new officers as well who are reassigned to Tobago. We wish them nothing but the best in their crime fighting effort. Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, have a great day, and thank you.